Hello, my name is Professor Moore, and this will be your presentation lecture on Module 3 of Sociology 101. In Module 3, we read from our textbook Sociological Imagination, Sociological Theory, and Everyday Life. I hope that this PowerPoint presentation will give you a better understanding of the concepts covered in these readings. The sociological imagination is something that came about from C. Wright Mills in a time where society was going through enormous change. People needed a way to perceive or feel like they have some type of control or understanding over their circumstances. The connection between personal troubles like being unemployed and societal issues such as widespread unemployment because of economic conditions is the connection and the distinction between the personal and the public that the sociological imagination is perceptive of. Sociological imagination is about making sense of an individual's experiences through looking at societal influences or causes. Can you think of something that has affected you personally that may be attributed to a condition of society? Let's take the example of Amal and Sadir. Amal lives in a community where extreme poverty has been the baseline for most of its members for years. One day he is peer pressured into smoking marijuana for the first time and is caught by the police. He ends up being charged with a misdemeanor. After this, Amal struggles to find employment because of his adverse criminal history. Now let's look at Sadir. Sadir happens to be a member of an affluent community where most of the members are extremely wealthy. Sadir smokes marijuana openly several times a month but has never been caught by the police. He enjoys the ability to choose where he wants to work and live without worrying about criminal history. Although people and even Amal himself may assume that being caught by the police doing something illegal is just a personal situation of Amal's that happened because of his own bad decision, there is actually a larger societal force at play. Police attitude and behavior have steered the idea that certain groups in society are viewed as police property. Amal's neighborhood just so happens to be made up of one of these groups and is policed 20 times as often as Sadir's. This over-policing of ethnic communities has been studied and shown to be a realistic fact of U.S. society. Judges themselves have said that drug laws are over-enforced in mostly minority neighborhoods. Can you see how Amal's individual circumstance is reflective of larger social forces? If so, you are using your sociological imagination. In sociology, theories are perspectives used to understand, explain, or even change the world, and there are many. In 1963, Helmut Wagner said something about sociological theory that still holds true today. At present, no unified theory exists that can coordinate and integrate all or even most of the existing sociological knowledge. So what we have instead is the attempt by sociologists to classify the theories in a formal manner. Let's look at what Ritzer says are the three main types of viewpoints or perspectives in sociology. Ritzer says it is the entire scientific craft that is determined by the nature of the dominant paradigm. Let's look at the three main theoretical paradigms according to Ritzer. The social fact paradigm, developed by Emil Durkheim, consists of institutions and macrostructures. The social definition paradigm stems from Weber's interpretive sociology and analyzes the social meaningfulness of an individual's actions. Lastly, the social behavior paradigm looks at the causes of pattern behavior in terms that are observable, specifically reward and punishment. This paradigm comes from behavioral psychology. Now that we have looked at the three main types of theories in sociology, let's explore the classificatory scheme that organizes theories into groups according to their epistemology. First, we have the empirical analytical epistemology. Associated with positivist philosophy, it is modeled on the natural sciences and seeks theories that are universal and law-like, which can be used as predictors of the future. Language reflects what is in the world, and the theory is there to organize it. Next, we have the hermeneutic epistemology, which is associated most closely with interpretive theory. It rejects the methods and ideals of the natural sciences and sees behaviors as coming from meaning systems, which societies and subgroups of those societies have created. Language is how humans in the world express themselves. Last, we have the more goal and action-oriented emancipatory epistemology. Associated with critical theory, the emancipatory epistemology believes that theory should help drive meaningful social change. It aims to expose the systems of domination and has a clear political focus. This attempt at formal classification by sociologists has a few drawbacks. There are so many theories available at one time that a single classificatory scheme cannot capture them all. Also, the diversity of the ideas cannot be represented by collecting them into broader types of categories. In doing so, they would need to be oversimplified. Lastly, schemes of classification often omit the ideas which reach the outer limits, like feminist theory. Although classification has its own problems, it is there to provide conceptual focus. The sociology of everyday life is a recently created specialization of sociology. It is focused on the micro, the problems, practices, and perspectives that people develop through human interaction. It focuses on everyday situations, distinguishing itself from mainstream macro-focused sociology. Although this neglect of social structures, history, morality, etc. is one of its biggest criticisms, sociologists have found it to be surprisingly useful in its contribution of clarifications regarding social structure issues. One approach to sociology of everyday life is the critical approach. This approach aims to expose forms of oppressions, inequalities, and power relations that form people's everyday experiences and attempt to change them or provide justice. It is predicted that the sociology of everyday life will become more mainstream. In doing so, one of its challenges will be preserving a distinguishing identity.